How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today I'm going to be doing a second take of my week 1 reactions and thoughts, basically summarizing week 1 in a nutshell, all of the games I'm going to be giving my thoughts on. I'm going to try my best to actually get through this video. As of recording this, it is Wednesday. I'm hoping to get this up early on Thursday. I actually went to the doctor for my sickness. I'm feeling a little bit better. My throat still hurts. So you may hear me do that a whole lot. I'll try to reduce it as much as possible. I'm going to try to, break down every game briefly and kind of talk about my thoughts and what I thought about it in a nutshell. So I already made a dedicated video to the Thursday night game, the opening kickoff game between Green Bay and Chicago, so I'm not really going to have much more to say. But let's get into Chiefs at Jaguars. So the Kansas City Chiefs ended up winning, 40-26? And my big takeaway for Jacksonville is, even with Gardner Minshew coming in there, he looked pretty confident. I don't expect him to complete 88% of his passes every week, but for a guy that played a lot of preseason action, really wasn't expecting to enter this ball game. For him to come in and look as poised and as confident as can be, that's a good sign, Jacksonville. You may have a little bit of a limited offense, but he comes from a college where he had to throw the ball literally all the time, in Washington State, in that Mike Leach system. So he's coming from a program where he's used to throwing the football a lot, so I would expect him to be a bridge starter to backup quarterback, caliber for his career. Now, he is going to be playing at least 8 weeks barring injury because of Nick Foles going onto the injured reserve list, which kind of sucks because he was their big free agent signing. Looking at the receiving options, Chris Conley definitely emerged. So did DJ Chark. He had his moments as well. A little concerned for D.D. Westbrook. I mean, he's a good talent. I think he could be good with Gardner Minshew, but it looks like Gardner Minshew is trying to air it out to those really fast receivers. Also for the Jags defense, was not expecting them to give up 40 points to Kansas City. I mean, I know it's one game, and I don't expect them to be that terrible in terms of giving up points. But Telvin Smith missing definitely shows, because when Miles Jack got ejected, Lord, their linebacking play was not good. For the Kansas City side, Patrick Mahomes, can you please stop doing no-look passes? I really don't think it's something you need to be doing. I get that it's kind of your thing. It's become like popular, borderline meme. But come on, dude. You overthrew Travis Kelce trying to look cute for one play. And I have Travis Kelce in fantasy. You need to hit that dude in the chest, man. You only had 3 catches, okay? That's not why I'm upset, but seriously, you don't need to be doing that shit. Just complete the pass. Don't go overboard with the whole no-look pass stuff, okay? Play your game. You could have scored 47. You scored 40. You know what I'm saying? As for the defense for Kansas City, it's going to be more of a bend but don't break approach. Really not pleased by what I saw on defense, even with Gardner Minshew coming into the game. And I'm not discrediting him in any way. I'm just saying, damn, you made a backup who didn't expect to enter this game look very good, completing 88% of his passes. For Kansas City, I'm definitely concerned. I feel like they are going to be a bend but don't break type of defense under Steve Spagnuolo. So as long as they're not giving up too many points, I don't really care how many yards they give up. That's just kind of whatever. I value holding opponents under 24 than giving up like 500 yards. Sure, give up all the yards you want. Keep those guys off the damn scoreboard. That's what I care about more. Now we get to the Falcons at Vikings. I'm a little concerned for Atlanta, but I'm not off of their bandwagon for them making the playoffs. I'm not really quite ready to mail it in for them. I still think they could be a very good football team. I think the issue is their run defense has been bad for a while, and when you have to run Vic Beasley in your base packages, and he's like, 250 pounds probably. You're going up against these 310-plus pound tackles, and they just bully him off the ball, and it's not even fair. Dalvin Cook was able to run the ball 21 times, I believe. The Vikings only threw the ball 10 times. I mean, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And Kirk Cousins completed 8 of his passes to make matters worse. Not the fact that he only threw it 10 times. He actually completed 80% of his passes. Atlanta's defense did not look great. A little undisciplined, too, with the Keanu Neal hit. I understand why he did it, but that doesn't justify it. You know, like, if you want to be pissed off, you know what, maybe tell the guys in the front seven not to get abused for 3.5 quarters. That'd be great. And then Matt Ryan had like a garbage time touchdown. He did not look particularly great, but anyone that doesn't have a great, you know, a steady offensive line in front of them that can't move around, you know, they're not going to look good. And Julio had 6 catches for 31 yards. He did have a touchdown, but I don't know, man. Julio's like arguably the best receiver. I kind of expect more than 31 yards on 6 catches. Anthony Harris had a big game for Minnesota. Minnesota's defense still looks good. I'm not doubting them. I still think they'll be top 10 in defense overall, not just scoring defense. But people need to stop overhyping Minnesota. Like, I understand we had expectations on them last year and they didn't live up to it, but they didn't really do a whole lot to get better as a team. They added Garrett Bradbury, who's a rookie center, who, yes, he could be good, but Grady Jarrett was winning at the line of scrimmage a few times going up against Garrett Bradbury. Okay, so let's pump the brakes on him. But overall, good job, Minnesota. Atlanta, you got a couple things you got to fix. The Devontae Freeman fumble kind of upset me a little bit. I don't have him in fantasy. I was just really rooting for him to do some big things. But let's move on to the Titans at the Browns. This is the game that I'm really the most excited to talk about. You want to talk about a reality check for a football team? Cleveland got that and then some. Holy crap. This game was something else, man. I mean, I picked Cleveland to win. I really wanted to go with Tennessee, and I'm not just saying that because now they won and it's like, oh, I wanted Tennessee all along. No, like, if I wanted them, I would have picked them, but I did actually think about it for a split second, and then I changed on my phone to Cleveland defeats Tennessee. I would have never guessed Cleveland would lose by 30 points. I mean, holy shit. I mean, they are going to face some adversity, but I kind of like it. This team needs to get slapped in the face and brought back down to earth because everyone is placing these unrealistic expectations on them. They're not going to go from a middle-of-the-road team to a Super Bowl contender because they made a trade for a superstar wide receiver who values his Richard Millie than winning games. I mean, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Odell Beckham wore a $350,000 watch, which, you know, good for him. You know, come through with the drip. Look cool. Look fly. You know, if you'd rather be Allen Iverson than Michael Jordan, that's cool. Iverson was a great player. He crossed up Jordan. But you want to know something? Allen Iverson couldn't win. Odell, you want to be flashy, you want to look cool, or do you want to win games and wear other kind of jewelry? That's the question you got to ask yourself, man. That's my takeaway for Odell. For Baker, not really a great game. Tennessee has one of the better defenses in the league, though. They have a pretty good pass rush that's coming around. Tennessee was a top 3 scoring defense last season, and they look like they're going to hold a lot of teams under 20 points. And this is not some overreaction to week 1. This is me telling you what I think is going to happen. I think Tennessee is going to be pretty good on the defensive side of the football like they've been for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Mariota still does not look like a confident thrower of the football. Everyone's going to be like, oh, but he threw a 75-yard touchdown, though. Yeah, it was like a 2-yard pass to Derrick Henry, and he did the rest of the work. So shout out to Derrick Henry for being more than a glorified, you know, power back and being a goal line guy, which I thought he was kind of going to be. The fact that they don't know how to use Deion Lewis still baffles me. How do you screw that up? You know, like, how do you not know how to use a former New England Patriot running back? Throw him the ball, will you? I guess the big takeaway from both sides is don't overreact to Cleveland losing. I think they needed this slap in the face. I don't have them as a playoff team personally. I don't have them as the Super Bowl favorite, but they could be, you know. And for Tennessee, I'm not saying they're going to go out there and do what they did to Cleveland every week because Cleveland was very undisciplined. 18 penalties, their starting left tackle gets ejected, but you do start to see the concerns. You know, Freddie Kitchens is a first-year head coach. It's really hard for first-year head coaches to just walk into the league and start winning and command a championship appearance. Not having Greg Williams as their D coordinator, kind of concerning as well. And finally, your offensive line naturally getting worse because he traded Kevin Zeitler for Olivier Vernon, who at best is an average pass rusher, you know. Like, yeah, he's going to be a good sidekick to Myles Garrett. He's going to be able to feed off of him because he's not the number one pass rusher like he was for the Giants, but let's call it like it is. He's average. You can find another pass rusher, you know, that will cost you less. But let's go right here to Bills at Jets. Sam Darnold and Josh Allen showed me some things that I really liked. They also still concern me. They need time to develop. I don't expect quarterbacks who had rocky first years to just come in their second year and be absolutely flawless. That's not really how it works. I expect it to be like a 3-year process. But it is good to see both of these young quarterbacks having great moments. I wasn't the highest on them when they got drafted, but I've had a fun time really exploring their journey. You know, like as quarterbacks, Josh Allen, more of a tougher, you know, a guy that can run the ball, very strong arm, kind of built like Cam Newton, but not exactly the athlete that Cam is. And then you have Sam Darnold, who gets compared to like Big Ben, Andrew Luck, Carson Wentz. You know, like he has the prototypical build, but can he make the plays and the throws necessary to elevate his stock as a quarterback? Can he win games? And these are two things that we were going to find out in this game. Buffalo wins 17-16. I'm sorry I haven't really been given scores for some of the games. I totally forgot. But let's see. Buffalo ends up winning by a point. I believe the Jets were up in this game, and they just allowed a bunch of unanswered points. Sam Darnold had a chance to win late, couldn't quite do that, but he loves throwing across the middle, and it's more than a preseason thing, okay? In preseason, we've seen him throw across the middle a lot. He would hit the left sideline as well to either Robbie Anderson or Quincy Enunwa, which, by the way, Quincy Enunwa out for the season with his second, you know, major neck injury since entering the league. I hope he's all right. He's one of those players that I thought would have a breakout season. You know, at least in consideration. Didn't happen, man. I hate to hear about it. But he loves throwing it over the middle, and he threw it to Jamison Crowder 14 times. He had 14 receptions for 99 yards. In PPR, that's 23.9 points, okay? That's value. That's valuable as hell. And for Josh Allen, you know, John Brown looks like he's going to be a big deal. You know, he's a deep threat, capitalizing off the deep accuracy and the strong arm of Josh Allen. Allen's got to work on the little things, though, the fundamentals. One of his 2 interceptions really wasn't his fault. The other one, it was like, what the hell were you doing? But overall, this was basically the battle of second place in the AFC East. But it was a fun battle, and I expect their second matchup in Buffalo to be very entertaining, and I can't wait to see what these two quarterbacks do for the future of their career and of the season. So good stuff, guys. Let's see, Ravens at Dolphins. The Ravens completely obliterated a bad team. Lamar Jackson had a great performance, and I know people are going to come on here and say, it's week 1. They played Miami, though. Let me give you an interesting stat about the Miami Dolphins, right? So, Miami was ranked 21st in pass defense, right? You would say, oh, that's bad. They were lower ranked than the Philadelphia Eagles, the Houston Texans, and the New England Patriots, the New Orleans Saints, and the Kansas City Chiefs. All 5 of those teams were pretty good. All 5 of those teams, you could argue, have just as good personnel, except for the Chiefs. And they didn't have a good pass defense either. But you know what? We didn't bitch and complain when other quarterbacks went off against them. We didn't try to nitpick performances. Give Lamar Jackson credit. I don't expect him to go out here and throw for 5 touchdowns and 85% completion percentage every damn week, but you know what? He looked good. And it's not like the Miami Dolphins suck in pass defense. It's not like they half-assed their coverage. They played straight up man-to-man on a good bit of the big plays we saw from Lamar Jackson. That slant route to Marquise Brown, that was man-to-man. That seam pass to Mark Andrews, that was man-to-man. Some of the big throws Lamar Jackson made were in man coverage. It's not like Lamar Jackson's a bum. Last year they tried to capitalize on his athletic ability, which is why everyone started calling him a glorified running back. I literally made a video talking about how he's not some glorified running back and he can throw the football, and this was further proof. Yes, was it an inflated statistical game? Sure, you can make that argument, but when Tom Brady throws for 400 yards against the secondary on Sunday and it's the lock of the week, and you know what the narrative's going to be? Oh, look at what this guy at age 42 can do. Yeah, it's against Miami though. That's going to be my excuse, because no one wants to put respect on Lamar Jackson. The NFL did for the NFL's Air and Ground Players of the Week in the AFC and for the Player of the Week, but it's like the fans just don't want to acknowledge it, it seems like, and it's kind of upsetting because you guys will praise Tom Brady for throwing a slant pass at the age of 42, but you don't want to give Lamar Jackson credit for balling out against Miami. So my takeaway is this offense is very exciting, and the defense, without CJ Mosley, newsflash, they're going to be okay. That's my big takeaway from week 1. Yeah, they might struggle here and there because CJ Mosley's a great player, but Baltimore, great at developing those positions, I think ought to be fine. And for the Miami Dolphins, my big takeaway is they suck. They suck. They suck. I don't really have much more to say other than they suck. And I don't have a takeaway for Miami other than Preston Williams, great undrafted find. That's it. I really don't have much to say about it. Miami sucks. Moving on. Redskins at Eagles. I told people in my prediction video that the Redskins were going to make this a closer game than people think. I don't like the 10-point spread by Vegas, and what do you know? They were up 20-0 at one point. Now, they lost the game 32-27, but that's not the point. Washington came out with something to prove. They said, hey, y'all really thinking we a 10-point underdog to these guys? We play them twice a year. We know everything about them. I mean, they still lost, but give them credit, they played them pretty well up until the collapse. But it was one play in particular that Carson Wentz made, and it was the deep pass down the seam to Deshaun Jackson for a touchdown. That was the one that really opened up the can of whoop-ass that came out from this team late. And then you look at the Washington Redskins. I mean, Case Keenum kind of does this thing where he plays a great stretch of football, and then he's trash. So, congrats to Case Keenum. He's now 3rd in the NFL in passing yards. I don't expect him to finish the season top 10 in that category, but congratulations to him. He had a great start to his season. Terry McLaurin, great find out of Ohio State in the 3rd round. A lot of rookie wide receivers balled. Marquise Brown, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, T.J. Hawkinson. We'll talk about a couple of those guys later. A lot of rookie pass catchers balled out. Terry McLaurin was one of them. I got to give him credit. Darius Geis got hurt again. I hate to hear about it, man. I think he's a good running back talent, but he needs to stay healthy. My big takeaway is the Eagles starting out 20-0, like losing 20-0. It doesn't really concern me. It just shows me that Washington came to play and that they need to be taken a little bit more serious. It doesn't really hinder my thoughts about Philadelphia being the team to beat. It just shows me that, hey, you're going to get the best from everyone. And we'll see what Philadelphia does next week in their matchup. I forget who they're facing. But when I go over week 2 predictions, you'll know. I forget. I think it's the Falcons in Atlanta. That ought to be an interesting game. The Falcons are a way better team at home anyway. So we'll see. Let's see, Rams at Panthers. This is the game that I watched the most out of all the 1 o'clock games. My big takeaway is the Rams didn't even have to open the playbook that much to beat Carolina, which is concerning because Carolina did switch to a 3-4 defense this offseason. And out of all of the defenses in the NFL, Ron Rivera's defense runs the most base coverages. So last season, in a 4-3, they ran the most 4-3 coverages, the most base 4-3 coverages, which means that they had 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers on the field more than any other team in the league. In a league where you run 3 receiver, 1 tight end sets, which basically, translation, there's going to be a linebacker on a receiver a lot of the time, and a smart quarterback would throw at that linebacker, just saying. Does the same Madden where you can use them and make them better. And in this game, they ran a lot of base 3-4 packages, and at times we saw linebacker Shaq Thompson on Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And where did Jared Goff go with the football? Wherever Shaq Thompson was a lot of the time. Robert Woods, I'm pretty sure, had 8 catches. Cooper Kupp had 7. Todd Gurley got going early on, you know, it was a little bit difficult for him to get integrated. They had to throw in Malcolm Brown, I'm pretty sure, at times. Yeah, so my big takeaway for the Rams offensively is they didn't have to open up the playbook. Defensively, they're a little suspect to me. They were last year as well. Like, they have the talent, they're just not getting the job done like I would expect. But I feel like in spurts, they're definitely going to show out this year. For Carolina, my big takeaway is offensively, there's a lot of potential. It's just Cam Newton late in ball games really scares me, and he has a tendency, and this has been a thing for years, this is like Cam's biggest criticism, he overthrows people so much, man. I get that he's a big, strong, mobile, athletic, God-gifted quarterback, but he overthrows everyone. He overthrew Greg Olsen like a lot in crunch time. I mean, I can't trust Cam Newton late. I think that's what it comes down to. And Christian McCaffrey, I'm so grateful I have this guy in fantasy football. He was the number 2 overall pick in the league for me. So with my first round pick at number 2 overall, I got him. Greatest pick ever, in my opinion, because I made it. But we're going to move on to a different game now. Colts at Chargers. I almost picked the Colts for an upset. I think I talked about it in the prediction video, but I said eventually LA is just a better team. I'm going to pick them. They end up winning in overtime. Austin Eckler doing Austin Eckler things. He looked very good, just like he did last year, filling in for Melvin Gordon. The big takeaway is, damn, Jacoby Brissett looking very good, looking sharp. You know, looking like he's on point. He hit T.Y. Hilton for some great passes. Throwing the ball to Jack Doyle. Looks like Eric Ebron has lost all of his stock, which doesn't surprise me. He went undrafted in fantasy football for that reason, you know, because he was great with Andrew Luck. So far, not good in the Jacoby Brissett era, which is whatever. Marlon Mack ran with a purpose, led all NFL running backs in rushing yards. I don't expect him to be a league leader, but you know what? He looked good, and I got to give him props for that. You know, he looked very good against this Chargers run defense. Even though the Chargers run defense hasn't really been great, it's been all right, but it hasn't been great. And Jerry Tillery isn't going to shine in run defense. He's more of a pass rusher at the D tackle spot. For the Chargers, like I said, man, Austin Eckler did his thing. We all know Keenan Allen is a mismatch. Offensively, though, the pass protection needs to be better. Defensively, I mean, they have a lot of talent. They shouldn't be bending and not breaking. They should just be able to lock up on some days, and you would think this game would be a lockdown type of game, but it wasn't. The Colts were able to do their thing. They brought it to overtime, didn't quite get the job done, but they can hang their heads on the fact that, you know what, with our franchise quarterback retiring abruptly in some people's eyes, we were still able to come out here and ball with Jacoby Brissett. So hang your hat on that. For my lock of the week, I had Seattle defeating Cincinnati. They only beat them by a point, so probably not the best bet you could have made. I could have went with Ravens at Dolphins, but it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. That man's unpredictable, okay? But Seattle won by a point. The big difference maker was the touchdown late to Tyler Lockett. The Bengals look good, but they do this every year where they look good and they're like 3-1 or 4-0, and then they fall off the face of the earth. I mean, it's what the Bengals do best, is they fool you. They're good at, you know, makeup. You know, like they make it seem like they're contenders, but in all reality, they ain't shit as a football team, and I'm just going to keep it real. I liked what I saw offensively, though. John Ross looked great. Joe Mixon, what the hell? I heard you got hurt. And, you know, not a great fantasy performance. I snagged him in the 4th round. Thought I had a steal like I do every year with Joe Mixon, and damn it, didn't come to play. You know, Giovanni Bernard finished with more points than he did. Andy Dalton led the league in passing yards. I swear, if you were a new football fan, you'd think Andy Dalton's the best guy in the league. He's not. Newsflash, he's replaceable, at least in my opinion. When it comes to the defense, though, they looked better. Their pass rush was able to affect Russell Wilson at times, but when it counted, they didn't do their job, you know. Let's see here. For Seattle, I love the fact that they're still running the football. DK Metcalf showed flashes of what he could do. Shout out to him. 4 catches, 89 yards. You wish you would have saw more, but shit, in that little bit of a spurt, he did great. Like we said, Tyler Lockett got the touchdown that helped change the game. Defensively, they were able to get pressure despite not having Jaron Reed. and no Ziggy Ansah. They were able to do their thing with Jadeveon Clowney. Quentin Jefferson got in there as well, who's been in the system for a year or two. Maybe even 3, I don't remember. But he's been in the system for at least a couple of seasons. And the secondary still concerns me, but I feel like if they can get home with their pass rushers, it'll help open things up for that secondary. Overall, though, it was a good game. I got to see bits and pieces of it. I watched, like, most of it. I tried to watch as many of these games as possible. So on to the next one. New York Giants at Dallas Cowboys. Let me guess, Dak Prescott's worth $40 million now because he had a great game. One great game. You know, like, he threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Do you want to know the last guy who did that? Not for the franchise, but in the league. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who did it and then was like the MVP for 3 weeks and then fell off the face of the earth. Not saying that'll happen to Dak Prescott. I'm happy for him. I'm glad he had a great performance. Nice to see my guys, Michael Gallup and Randall Cobb doing stuff. Nice to see that Prescott didn't overthrow them. You know, that was awesome. Zeke in a limited workload looked pretty good, but it kind of justified why he doesn't need that big-ass contract he got either. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, but Dallas shouldn't have paid him because this game kind of illustrated why you don't need to pay a running back. Tony Pollard had great moments back there, and Kellen Moore, credit where credit's due, a great game for week 1. He started out great. I don't expect the offense to be like this every week, but damn it, like I said, with Lamar Jackson and with Andy Dalton and a couple others, man, if you play well, I'm going to give you credit. Prescott played well. What can I say? He had a perfect passer rating. One of 3 quarterbacks to have a perfect passer rating this weekend. Lamar Jackson was the other, and I'll talk about the other one later because I'm sure a lot of people who consider me slanders of this guy, a slanderer of this player, they're going to want me to praise him. For the Giants, they scored 17 points despite their ineffectiveness in certain positions. Cowboys had more of a bend but don't break approach. The Giants were able to stop the run, but with a bunch of rookie DBs, it was going to be hard for them anyway. They already had their work cut out for them, and Amari Cooper just went up there and ate, man. Nothing more you could say. I expect the Giants to be bad. I did pick the Cowboys to not be a playoff team. That still could happen, but it looks like they might be. Shit. Just playing. 49ers at Buccaneers. This was the sloppiest game I had to watch. People bitched about the Packers-Bears game. Did y'all not see this game with Tampa Bay? Jesus Christ, it was sloppy. 3 pick sixes. 2 of them thrown by Jameis Winston. Dude, I think I'm officially out on Jameis Winston. I had 1 foot out the door last year. I think I'm done. I don't think Bruce Arians can save him. And yeah, you can say I'm overreacting after 1 week. And then if he does great, I'll be like, oh, I never gave up on him. I always had faith in him. And y'all are going to be like, nah, man, remember what you said week 1 of 2019? Yeah, well, Jameis pisses me off, okay? The dude now has more, I think it's more turnovers in the league since 2015. He just passed Blake Bortles. Like, come on, man. That's not the type of record you want to be setting in Tampa Bay, man. 49ers, they showed some things. Like, they look nice offensively. Nice seeing that they have an actual pass rush other than DeForest Buckner. I still think they're a sloppy team. I don't have them as a playoff team either. Tampa Bay, though, very concerning. We'll see how they rebound Thursday night. Lions at Cardinals, I got to give Kyler Murray all the credit in the world. Terrible first half, played well in the second half, and now the question is, oh, well, which quarterback is he? The one in the first half or the one in the second? He's the same dude, man. He just had a rough first half, a rough welcome to the NFL type of vibe. But I tell you what, man, he made some great throws. One to Larry Fitzgerald in overtime that really changed the tide of the game. Stafford played well. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you hate Stafford. You said he's average as fuck in a video before. I did. And you know what? Newsflash, after 1 game, that doesn't change. It's about having a body of work. He is average. He didn't even win the game. He had a bunch of great numbers. His stats look great because his stats always look great. But when is he going to win the game? It was a tied football game against a rookie quarterback against a team that just picked number 1 overall in the draft. Okay, like, yes, and you're probably going to be like, oh, well, the Packers lost to them last year. Well, yeah, you're right, and it still hurts a little. But you know what? Stafford played well. He just didn't win the game. I'm waiting on him to win one of these games. I hear about all these comebacks, but he ain't winning the games. Like, what the hell? But Kyler Murray, credit where credit's due. He bounced back. He responded pretty well to getting his ass handed to him for the first half. Kind of like he did in that Alabama game. You know, like he got his ass chewed up and then he came out and played well later on. He showed some things, man, and I think his future is bright. Don't throw in the towel yet because he had one bad half. Jared Goff was trash for a whole season. And look at where he is now. He's an above-average quarterback. But moving on to the Sunday Night Football game, Steelers at Patriots. Jesus, man, the Steelers look like they were lost out there, man, without Antonio Brown. I'm not going to overreact, though. I did have this team as a playoff team, and I did predict, you know, in my predictions that they were going to have growing pains, and that's why I have to take the Patriots. You know, it's either the Patriots have a bad start to the season or the Steelers are going to struggle early trying to find a groove without Antonio Brown. They were already used to Le'Veon Bell being out because they had James Conner do his thing. But without Antonio Brown, I mean, welcome to the jungle, man. You have Juju, who's now the number 1 receiver. No disrespect, but we'll see how he handles that, you know, opportunity being given to him. You know, and then James Washington's your effective number 2 receiver. And then Vance McDonald's your tight end option, who was invisible out there. New England, they look like they're in midseason form. They look like they're ready for the playoffs now. Can we just sim to the end of the season? No, because I want to enjoy my favorite football teams. You know, favorite football team. Jesus, I messed up that statement. I want to enjoy my favorite NFL teams' games this season, the Green Bay Packers. I'm trying to actually enjoy their games. But the Steelers didn't look good. I'm not panicking, though. The Patriots look like they're in midseason form. Thoughts on Antonio Brown coming there? Congratulations. They just won a Super Bowl without really trying. My conspiracy on Antonio Brown is he did all this shit to get out of Oakland, but it ruined his reputation in the process, and now he's going to be kind of like the Terrell Owens of this generation. Very talented, has all the numbers, but won't be first ballot because of his reputation. Which, let's face it, the dude literally did everything he could to get the hell out of Oakland. I don't blame him, though. Oakland's dysfunctional and misguided. At least with New England, you're automatically going to get a playoff spot. But we'll see how Antonio Brown does. They look good. Julian Edelman looks sharp. James White looks sharp. Brady missed a couple of throws, but give me a quarterback that doesn't miss throws here and there. That's really my only big takeaway. Texans, they were my upset of the week. They lost by 2 points. I'll take that, though, because out of all the teams that lost, they looked the most impressive. You know, Houston, they showed me some things. And even though Deshaun Watson literally almost died out there, you know, like, he played very well. He did throw that one interception. It was forced. And I don't really think he needed to force it, but damn, he was pressured on 45% of his dropbacks. He was sacked 6 times. He got hit like a dozen times in the pocket. Okay, this dude went through hell and back and almost won the damn game for his team. Okay, and by the way, where was J.J. Watt that game? We have to file another missing report on a great pass rusher because Khalil Mack didn't do shit against Green Bay in terms of being a pass rusher. Maybe he got some pressures. J.J. Watt didn't even get a damn pressure. He didn't get a pressure. He didn't get a quarterback hit. He didn't render a tackle for loss, a sack. He basically suited up, lined up, and didn't do shit. That's what J.J. Watt did. He didn't do a damn thing. Where was he? You know, New Orleans, they struggled out the gates early, you know. Sure, I'd rather you start slow and finish strong anyway. I think they need another receiver. Yeah, imagine me saying that about the Saints. They need another receiver. Jarrett Cook was good in his limited role the other night. Kamara, we know what to expect from him. It looks like Latavius Murray is taking away red zone touches from him, which for fantasy owners out there could be a little concerning. just monitor that. Definitely watch those Saints games if you get a chance. They will be playing on national TV next week against the Rams, so definitely check out that game and see how Latavius Murray gets in the red zone and gets some touches. And then finally, Broncos at Raiders. Everyone's going to look for me to praise Derek Carr, and damn it, I'll give him his due. Without Antonio Brown, with all the distractions going on, he didn't get sacked. He made some great throws, and he had a perfect passer rating. Newsflash, that's not Derek Carr on a week-to-week basis. Okay, I don't know what happened with Denver's defense. I predicted them to be good, and I think after 1 week, I still think they'll be good. But damn it, Derek Carr did not get touched. He went in with a clean uniform, and he walked out with a clean uniform. Dude didn't get touched. He made some great throws to Darren Waller and Tyrell Williams. You know what? I think the Raiders can go at least 7-9, but I'm not going to predict them to, be this playoff team or a wild card team. I think they're good enough to go 6-10, 7-9, somewhere in that range. So credit to them. Denver, a little concerned. I feel like they're limited on offense. Deshaun Hamilton really disappointed me. Sutton looked nice. Sanders did his thing. Fant, he needs to get going a little bit. Lindsey could use some more juice from him. Same with Royce. But the offensive line needs a little bit more work. Remember, they lost Matt Paradis, their center from last season. And Joe Flacco, man, it was tough out there. And you want to know something? Oakland got some pressure with Benson Mayowa and Cleveland Farrell. They were able to get pressure out there. Imagine that. So shout out to Oakland, man. They deserve to celebrate this victory, even if it's a week 1 overreaction or not. But there you have it, guys. Those are my week 1 thoughts in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm probably going to release this Thursday morning. Definitely check it out. I know it's late. But also, you can expect a Thursday night football breakdown of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing the Carolina Panthers. And I'll give my 5 things to look out for each side, each team. And hopefully you guys enjoy those 2 videos. Of course, your Fantasy Football Friday video will come out. And Saturday, probably do my predictions. Sunday, I'll upload Lions franchise or something. Hopefully you guys enjoy, man, and peace out. Enjoy.